there, great to see you again. This is Essential Elements, page 7. So this is going to take us through exercises 20 through 26. And you'll notice that we actually start out this page with a clapping exercise. So before we review anything with the flute, I'm going to actually set it down on a nice little solid surface next to me. And then we're going to look at this rhythm. So we're adding a new note here, which is called a whole note. So a whole note takes up the whole measure. So it takes up 4 full beats, because remember, we've been looking at 4 quarter notes in one measure. So there are 4 quarter notes within one whole note. So a whole note gets 4 beats, quarter note gets 1, and then you've also got a whole rest. Now you'll see there's a whole and a half rest notated at the top of the page in that yellow box. So what I like to think is the whole rest looks like a hole that you could fall into, right? Like a hole in the ground. Whereas a half rest actually looks like a little top hat that you could put on your head. So again, a hole, like a hole that you can fall into, and the half rest like a hat that you can put on your head. All right, so number 20, we'll go through this rhythm about 1 and 2 and ready, clap. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, so nice and easy there. If you can't say the rhythm and clap it at the same time, I'd recommend just making sure that you have your foot tapping the beat as you're going through it. That's just one easy way to keep everything consistent there. But I would encourage you to try at least once to get all of those pieces to go together. All right, so then I'm gonna grab my flute and we're gonna go through number 21 here. So this starts with an E flat. So just remind yourself one more time about that setup. So making sure we've got lots of space here, right? Not too far back, lots of space floating away from the body. Making sure that our legs are pointed kind of at this angle to the stand, and that way I can move my torso back and have that nice open position here. Making sure we've got our balance point, so that right hand thumb, left hand index finger, and the chin, pointing the rods here more up at the ceiling than at the wall behind you. And then just remembering the fingering for E flat. So E flat is going to be left hand thumb, middle finger, ring finger, right hand 1, 2, 3, plus the pinky, okay? And remember, there's a breath mark here as well, so we're going to get those breaths when the breath marks are there. So great breath to start. 1 and 2 and ready. Great job. All right, so the next one here is a duet. So I'm going to play both parts here. You can play along with this actually by choosing the other part. So I'll play both just so you know what they sound like. And so we have kind of the same tempo established, and then you can try playing along. So here's the top part first. So this is A. So tempo about 1, 2, ready. All right, and then here is part B. 1 and 2 and ready. And then go back and play both of those parts either by yourself as a solo or with what I've played for the duet. Great, so that brings us to number 23 on this page. You'll notice they're talking to you now about a key signature. So before we were playing everything exactly as it said on the page. So B flat had that little flat sign in front of it, E flat had the same thing. Now you'll notice with number 23, they're part of the key signature. So anytime you see those notes in the music, you will play them as B flat or E flat, okay? So make sure it's just modifying those notes through the whole thing. It's just a step that's saved so you don't have to process quite as much information. So let's do number 23. Notice that we're skipping around quite a bit. So if you need to go through this first and say those note names and finger along for yourself, that's perfectly fine. That's a great idea. If you're ready to go, let's jump right into it. So nice light fingers, sitting nice and tall, and getting a great breath here. 1 and 2 and ready. Good. All right, so number 24 is listen to our section. So this is something that you would be able to play with the rest of the group, and it might be a fun project to try if you happen to have friends who play any of the other instruments. So for now, we're going to focus on making sure we rest for the appropriate amount of time. So here is number 24. So I'm going to start by counting, and this would be our percussion friends, okay? 1, 2, here we go. Brass plays now, percussion, 2, ready, play. 2, 3, 4, percussion. Good. So that's more just an exercise to make sure you can keep steady counting and that you know your notes. So let's move on to exercise 25. So this is lightly row. We are jumping all around. This is a pretty long one. Make sure that whenever you get a breath, it's a good one. Make sure we're using lots of air to go along here and connect everything. And just that light do kind of tongue, right? That nice and easy in the front of the mouth. So lightly row. How about 1, 2, starting on F. Good. That's probably the longest song we've played to that point. You should be really proud of yourself. If it didn't go quite according to plan, that's okay. That's what practice is for. So go back, do it again, take your time, slow it down if you need to. Just make sure that we're really getting that great air through everything. We're sitting nice and tall. Fingers are light on the keys. So the last thing on this page then is your little quiz, and it asks you to draw in bar lines before you play. So the easiest way to do that is to find groups of 4 beats. So make sure you know 4 quarter notes equal 1 measure, so then you would draw a line. So if you have quarter note, quarter rest, quarter note, quarter rest, that's 4 beats. And then your bar line goes there. You know a whole note is worth 4 beats, so that's its own measure, so you can just put those lines around that note. And then you know that a half note and 2 quarter notes also equal 4 beats. So 2 beats for the half note, plus 2 beats for the quarter note. And then pay attention, do you have a half rest or a whole rest? Remember the little trick. If it's a whole rest, it's a hole you can fall into. If it's a half rest, it looks like a little hat. So make sure you draw those in, and then we will play this exercise as well. So it'll sound like this. 1, 2, ready. Great job. And with that, you have successfully gone through the first 4 pages of Essential Elements.